CDL Practice Test, New York, Air Brake, Part 3. Question number 27. What are forced away from each other and against the inside of the brake drum by the S-cam? A. The brake seals. B. The brake boots. C. The brake rings. D. The brake shoes. The correct answer is here, D. The brake shoes. Explanation. The twist of the brake camshaft turns the S-cam. This causes the brake shoes to be pushed away from each other and against the inside of the brake drum. Question number 28. Why must you pass a knowledge test on air brakes? A. Otherwise, you will not be able to obtain a CDL at all. B. All trucks have air brakes. C. Otherwise, you will have to get a CDL with restrictions. D. Otherwise, you will only be able to obtain a commercial learner's permit. The correct answer is here, C. Otherwise, you will have to get a CDL with restrictions. Explanation. If you do not pass the air brake knowledge test, your CDL will include restriction L, which will limit you to driving vehicles without air brakes. So, good luck. Question number 29. Slack adjusters. A. Need adjustment if they move less than 1 inch from where the push rod attaches to it. B. Can be adjusted by anyone with a CDL license. C. Make adjustments automatically whenever the truck starts. D. Adjust the position of the S-cam. The correct answer is here, D. Adjust the position of the S-cam. Explanation. Slack adjusters can be automatic or manual. Manual adjustments should only be done by someone with special training and certification in brake service and maintenance. A slack adjuster should not move more than 1 inch from where the push rod attaches to it. Automatic slack adjusters make adjustments whenever the brakes are applied. Question number 31. What can happen if the air pressure gets too low in an air brake system? A. The brakes may squeak. B. The brakes may be sluggish. C. The brakes will be very sensitive. D. The brakes may not work. The correct answer is here, D. The brakes may not work. Explanation. Pressing and releasing the brake pedal unnecessarily can let air out faster than the compressor can replace it, reducing the available air pressure. If the air pressure in an air brake system gets too low, the brakes will no longer work. Question number 32. On a long or steep downgrade, once you have reached your safe speed, brake until you are traveling. A. 10 miles per hour slower. B. 15 miles per hour slower. C. 5 miles per hour slower. The correct answer is here, C. 5 miles per hour slower. Explanation. On a steep downgrade, don't keep applying your brakes continuously because this might cause them to fade, become less effective. Instead, apply your brakes sparingly as a supplement to engine braking. Select a safe speed. Let your vehicle reach this speed. Brake gently until you are going 5 miles per hour slower. Then let your speed increase back to the safe speed. Keep varying your speed up and down this way. Question number 33. All vehicles equipped with air brakes have A. A supply pressure gauge. B. An air use gauge. C. A backup hydraulic system. The correct answers here. A supply pressure gauge. Explanation. Every vehicle equipped with air brakes must have a supply pressure gauge that shows how much air pressure is available for braking. Question number 34. Under ideal conditions, the average driver of a truck or bus equipped with air brakes and traveling at 55 miles per hour would require what stopping distance? A. 100 to 250 feet. B. 300 to 350 feet. C. More than 400 feet. The correct answers here. C. More than 400 feet. Explanation. The stopping distance equals the sum of the perception distance, reaction distance, brake lag distance, and braking distance. Under ideal conditions, the average driver of a bus or large truck equipped with air brakes and traveling at 55 miles per hour would require about 451 feet to come to a complete stop. The length of a football field including the two end zones is 360 feet. Question number 35. Repeatedly pressing and releasing, fanning, the brake pedal may result in A. No change in brake air pressure. B. A buildup of brake air pressure. C. A loss of brake air pressure. The correct answers here. C. A loss of brake air pressure. Explanation. Each time you release the brakes, some compressed air leaves the system and must be replenished by the air compressor. If you keep pressing and releasing the brake pedal, air may leave the system faster than the air compressor can replenish it. The air pressure may drop to the point that the brakes won't work. Question number 37. During your final air brake check, if the air pressure does not build up fast enough, A. The alcohol evaporator may be low. B. Have the problem fixed after your trip is over. C. The air pressure may drop too low during driving. The correct answers here. C. The air pressure may drop too low during driving. Explanation. The manufacturer's specification should state how fast the air pressure should build up once the engine has reached normal operating speed. If the air pressure does not build up fast enough during your final air brake check, the air pressure may not replenish quickly enough during normal braking either. Don't drive the vehicle until the cause has been found and corrected. Question number 38. When should you use the parking brakes and air brakes at the same time? A. Never. B. When you're preparing to pull your vehicle out of a parking space. C. When you're preparing to park your vehicle. The correct answers here. A. Never. Explanation. Never try to apply the brake pedal when the spring brakes are on. The combined force of the springs and the air pressure could damage the brakes. However, the brake systems on some, but not all, vehicles are designed to prevent this from happening. Question number 39. With the engine at operating RPM, air tank pressure in a dual system should build from 85C to 100C within how much time? A. 60 seconds. B. 30 seconds. C. 90 seconds. D. 45 seconds. The correct answers here. D. 45 seconds. Explanation. In a vehicle with standard air tanks, the time it takes to increase from 85C to 100C should be about 45 seconds. If the pressure does not build fast enough, the pressure may become too low while driving, which can be dangerous. Question number 40. Some air brake systems have an alcohol evaporator. If you don't keep it filled with alcohol, A. Ice may form on the brake pads and warp them. B. The S-cam may not rotate back when you release the brake pedal. C. The brakes may stop working. The correct answer is here, C. The brakes may stop working. Explanation. In cold weather, check the alcohol level in the evaporator daily. Refill the evaporator as needed. The alcohol vapor keeps ice from forming in the lines and valves. Without it, ice could form in the system and stop your brakes from working.